Hi. I realise this isn't the opening that I'd usually open up an episode with, but there's a time for being funny and there's a time for being serious. And this is one of the times where I have to be serious. I had originally intended to make a video about the Vivo Certified Challenge and a reaction video, but I think there's something that needs to be talked about a lot more. And that's the fact that in a matter of hours, according to ABC, or pretty soon, the Bali Nine are going to be put to death. The Bali Nine, for those of you who don't know, were essentially convicted of attempting to smuggle drugs into Indonesia. And they're moments away from having all of their lives ended. I realise I'm stumbled over my words, but that's not because I'm all over the place like other episodes. It's because for the first time in my life, I'm actually speechless. I'm an active believer in human rights and the fact that all people should deserve to be treated equally. And I am immensely thankful that I live in a country where free speech is allowed and crimes are dealt with either fines or jail time, because that is much more easier and gives the time to have the perpetrators of crimes reflect and potentially repent on their crimes rather than just putting them to death. It's just wrong what's going to happen. Look, I realise that this probably isn't an issue on most teenagers' minds, so let's try and put this into perspective. What if you were put to death just because you wore that outfit to school? What if you were put to death just because you didn't turn your homework in on time? What if you were put to death because you didn't agree with what someone else thought about you, or who got sent home on RuPaul's Drag Race? Whatever you want to say. What if you were put to death for just doing simple things, or just potentially breaking the law one time? Can you imagine? A lot of you can't. And quite frankly, neither can I. I am absolutely heartbroken, and I'm sad, and I'm angry. I'm beyond angry that this is happening. Fighting violence with violence only leads to more violence. And in a world where violence dominates nearly everything that we see, everything we read, everything we hear about, we need a moment of peace and serenity. And with this happening, we're not going to get that. Unless we stand up and we say, we don't agree with this. We believe in basic human rights for people, that they can continue living their lives without fear of being persecuted. Sure, and looking through tweets about this incident, many people would say, what would you do if they had supplied drugs to your family and single-handedly killed a member of your family with those drugs that they tried to smuggle into Indonesia? I find that actually not rising to people provides you with a better solution. And yes, they did something incredibly bad, but they shouldn't deserve to be put to death because of it. Please, for those of you who are thinking these needless things, think about what you are saying. You are saying that it is okay to put people to death just because of a law. Just because of one broken law, they will never get to see their families. They'll never get to experience the world fully. They'll never get to have children, find partners, to live. These are things we take granted. And it takes something like this for us all to stop and think, I am lucky to have the things I have. But it's one thing to do that. Another thing is to stand up for people. So I implore anyone who's watching this or knows of these events to stand up and say, I believe in basic human rights. I believe that no human should be put to death. Tonight I'm going to have a restless night, and I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning feeling sick, knowing that 9 people would have been killed for one simple thing. It's outrageous. It's sickening that this can happen. But you can try. You can try and fight, even if it's too late for these 9 people. Try for any future person who happens to do something, just one thing wrong, and is potentially going to be put to death. You have the chance to speak out and say something to try and stop this from happening in the future. So, to anyone watching, join your local human rights group. I think that there's a group called Amnesty International that's actually really good with human rights. So try and get onto that. I'll try and pop a link in the description box to direct you to these places, but do something. Raise funds for charity. If you can't join specifically, try going out and raising money at your local school fundraiser or your office fundraiser or something like that. Try and make your voice heard. Because until it is, this violence is just going to continue going and going and going and going. And we are all paying the price. By letting violence tackle violence, we're letting evil gain a stronghold on our world. And a world ruled with evil is not a world that we all want to live in. So, stand up for human rights. No matter what, stand up. I won't sign off with my usual goodbye because there is going to be more to be said on this issue. Don't just let this pass and just go back to your normal lives. Stand up. Continue fighting. Because when we get basic human rights for every single person in the world, only then will this go. I stand for mercy. It's about time everyone did the same.